Theresa May insisted she understood Britain's demand to get Brexit done today as she croaked through PMQs with a blast at Jeremy Corbyn for refusing to help pass her deal. Hours after she was humiliated by a second drubbing at the hands of MPs, Mrs May returned to the dispatch box to insist, "I want to leave the EU with a good deal. I believe we have a good deal." The Prime Minister is fighting for her political life after being humiliated by a crushing Commons defeat last night, which saw her on the last chance Brexit deal voted down by 391 to 242. As she confronted MPs for the first time since the fresh humiliation, she made light of her own inability to speak, blasted at Mr Corbyn, "I may not have my own voice, but I understand the voice of the country." Mrs May repeatedly told MPs that the only way to take no deal off the table for good was to either cancel Brexit altogether or ultimately back her deal. But after she handed control to parliamentary MPs are scrambling to back an alternative plan, backed by 15 rebellious ministers. Brexiteers have joined forces with Remain Tories to say Mrs May should offer to buy a transition period after March 29 in return for the divorce bill as an alternative to no deal. The plan is known as the Malthouse Compromise. Mrs May has promised a free vote tonight on her motion that says there should not be a no-deal Brexit on March 29, but that the option must stay on the table. The PM herself will vote against a no-deal tonight. She is ordering MPs to vote against most amendments but relented today over the Malthouse effort to unite the warring Tory party. EU negotiator Michel Barnier already dismissed the plan this morning in a speech to the European Parliament in Strasbourg, prompting Remain MPs to say it is a de facto vote for crashing out on March 29. The other main amendment in tonight's votes is to rule out no-deal Brexit in all circumstances, something Remain ministers may want to back. What is the Malthouse Compromise? How did the plan come about? Housing Minister Kit Malthouse brought Remain and Leave supporting Tories together in a bid to break the Brexit impasse, concocting the plan which now bears his name. What does the Malthouse Compromise propose? The plan contains two choices to be offered to the EU, one for how the UK will leave with a deal, and one for how it will leave without. Plan A is similar to the current withdrawal agreement, but with changes to the Irish backstop and the implementation period. Plan B assumes that agreement on the withdrawal agreement is not possible and creates a transitional standstill period. How is Plan A different to the current deal on offer? The bare bones of the withdrawal agreement remain the same, but the implementation period would be extended until no later than December 2021. The aim of this is to provide a longer period to agree the future relationship, but it could also involve paying more money to the EU. The second major difference is to the controversial backstop, which would be changed to become a basic free trade agreement. It would not require new technology and relies on existing administrative processes. Is Plan B different to a no-deal Brexit? Yes, as Britain would remain in a transition period even if a withdrawal agreement had not been signed. The UK would become a third country, in practice, but would offer to pay the EU in exchange for retaining the implementation period until no later than December 2021. Plan A would remain on offer as long as the EU was willing to consider it. How much would the UK have to pay? Under Plan B, Britain would offer around £10 billion per year in exchange for the implementation period to continue. When would Britain leave the EU under the plan? Brexit would still occur on March 29 under both plans, but the major difference is that the UK could stay in a transition period until December 2021 under both. Despite Mr. Barnier's stance, Eurosceptic ministers have demanded the right to vote for the plan anyway in the hope of uniting the Tories and forcing concessions from Brussels. One minister told The Telegraph, "The Remainers have had it all their own way, they've breached collective responsibility without any sanction. We've been loyal and look where it's got us." The delegation of 15 ministers is meeting Mrs. May at 4:30 p.m. and one warned, "We will all go." It would be the end of her. Senior Brexiter Steve Baker, a key figure in the hardline European research group, said the new version of the Malthouse Compromise would throw three safety nets around leaving the EU without a withdrawal agreement on March 29. He told BBC Radio 4's Today programme that Plan A remained putting alternative arrangements in place to replace the backstop and the withdrawal agreement that was defeated last night. The second element was to buy an implementation period so they get about £10 billion a year and we all get a transition arrangement. The third was offering standstill arrangements with the EU to provide a third way to have a smooth exit. The EU's Michel Barnier has repeatedly stressed that a transition arrangement could only be offered if there was a formal withdrawal agreement. But Mr. Baker said negotiability is a dynamic concept.